Hey lovely people, this is me, the Bombay Chef Varun Inamdar, and welcome to Get Curried. You know what? Over the years I've made a terrible mistake. You may be wondering what? Over so many years I've shown you so many varieties of biryanis. But what just genuinely skipped my mind is I've never shown you any raitas or accompanying raitas to begin with. Well, today I'm going to rectify all of that and show you at least 5 varieties. Let's begin. The first one, of course, is mixed vegetable raita, the quintessential raita which is served with almost all biryanis, the hero of raitas. Very simple. The first, of course, is red onions going into the bowl of whipped curd, followed by chopped cucumber, chopped tomatoes, chilies as per choice, and to this I'm going to add in some spices, a touch of red chili powder, a touch of cumin roasted and powdered, black salt, and regular table salt. Let's mix all this well. The first raita is mixed and ready. Let's transfer this in the serving bowl. And now I'm going to top this with some vegetables so that eventually they look distinct, because I'm showing you 5 different kinds of raitas. Eventually they should all look different. You'd be wondering why a raita is getting garnished, but this is purely to make them look different and unique. Let's top this up with some tomatoes, some cucumber, some green chilies again, and finally red chili powder. Let's move on to the next raita, and that is Burhani raita. Let's do that. To whipped curd, I'm adding in fried onions and I'm adding in crushed garlic. You can also by all means add fried garlic, and that also tastes wonderfully well. Now this is generally a orangish pink colored raita, so I'm adding in a little more of the chili powder, a touch of salt, black salt, and finally roasted cumin powder. Let's mix all this well. With this, your Burhani raita is done and ready. And you know, the interesting part about this raita is it actually feels like eating the marination of the meat or the chicken while actually making the biryani, because what goes in here? Garlic, fried onions, curd, salt, chili, cumin seeds, powdered, and finally black salt. Isn't that interesting? That makes it wonderful actually. Let's transfer our Burhani raita also in a bowl. Let's garnish this with some fried onions, and along with this red chili powder. Well, garnishes are generally the ingredients from the recipe itself. So do not look at an external garnish or something which is not in the recipe. Don't add in a sprig of rosemary or thyme or curry leaf just for effect, because that's not part of the recipe. Our vegetable raita is done and ready. Our Burhani raita is done and ready. The third raita is a Greek style, a tzatziki inspired raita, which is nothing but a cucumber raita. For this, I'm going to grate the cucumber, add in finely chopped mint leaves, salt, and lots of crushed roasted cumin seeds. Very simple. Let's see how it's done. The first step is to take, of course, a bowl full of whipped curd, and to this, I'm going to add in grated cucumber. To this, I'm going to add in finely chopped mint leaves, followed by salt, and finally roasted cumin seeds. Let's mix all this well, and a Greek-inspired tzatziki style raita is also done and ready. Let's transfer this as well. Some grated cucumber, mint leaves, and some roasted cumin powder. My 3 versions of raitas are done and ready. I'm now moving on to the 4th version, and that is a tadka style raita. This is flavored with beetroot. Of course, it tastes different, it looks different, and it also has the style of a tadka. Let's see how. The first ingredient, of course, is whipped curd, to which I'm adding in beetroot. Now, beetroot can be eaten raw, it can be eaten baked, it can be eaten steamed, boiled, anything is fine. I like using raw beetroot, so I'm going ahead with this. Let's grate this. To this, I'm adding in our 4 basic ingredients, beginning with red chili powder, a touch of salt, a touch of black salt, and finally a touch of cumin powder, which is roasted. Let's mix all of this. The beetroot is going to leach out its nice, wonderful, rosy pink color. Oh, by the way, before I forget, you can also use pureed beetroot. That will also give it a nice, wonderful, accentuated color. Let's transfer this as well. Well, imagine making one raita and then also making 5 different kinds of raitas and impressing your family and friends. Just a food for thought. Let's add in a sprinkling of cumin powder. Let's add in beetroot because that's the essence and primary flavor of this raita. And finally comes in the tadka element. Now, what is a tadka? Tadka is basically a tempering. What you need to do is take oil, vegetable oil, add in mustard seeds, add in cumin seeds, and also add in a little bit of asafoetida, which is also known as hing, and curry leaves. Just pan fry it or saute it for a little while and retain that. Now you can also make this and keep it so that you don't have to keep making the tadka. Now my family generally loves making raitas. So what we do is we make the South Indian tempering and keep it ready, always. So once the raita is ready, just add in like a tablespoon or a teaspoon to your liking and you have a tadka which is done and ready. Let's add this in. With this, your tadka beetroot raita is done and ready. My 4 varieties of raitas are done and ready. The next raita is my all-time favorite. If you personally ask me about my favorite or my personal favorite, bundi raita comes out tops. It's sweet, it has a little bit of spice, it has that little dose of cumin powder. It's just my favorite. Let's see how it's made. Let's begin with whipped curd, to which I'm going to add in bundi. Now, a lot of you who are not aware about bundi, especially the ones who are not Indians or are not of Indian origin or who do not stay in Indian kind of colonies, bundi is nothing but gram flour fritters. What you need to do is a perforated spoon, you just add in some batter in hot oil and you just give it 1 or 2 knocks. Pearls drop in hot oil and you have to skim them out, and that's the crisp salted bundi. Interesting, it's India's way of, say, the original molecular gastronomy of the country, if I may put it so. Let's add in the bundi into whipped curd, to which I'm adding in pomegranate kernels, absolutely fresh, powdered sugar, a touch of red chili powder, a touch of salt, a touch of black salt, and finally roasted cumin seeds powdered. Let's mix all of this well. You need to do this very carefully because you don't want to smash the bundi, which has already been soaking or soaked in water. With this, my personal favorite, bundi raita, is also done and ready. You know, one very important or interesting thing in this raita is I always ensure that I add in the tempering to something like this because it just brings in the natural taste and flavor of all the other ingredients. But of course, that's going to happen right towards the end. Before that, a little bit of bundi, some pomegranate kernels, a little bit of mint leaves. It's looking so nice, so colorful, very interesting. A touch of red chili powder, a touch of cumin powder, roasted of course, and finally my secret in this recipe, and that is the South Indian tempering, which is nothing but a mixture of mustard, cumin seeds, a touch of asafoetida, and finally curry leaves, which are all created like a tempering in oil. With this, 5 varieties of raitas are done and ready, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is my genuine attempt at redemption. Now I can proudly say I've shown you several varieties of biryanis along with several varieties of raitas. Bye for now.